Good morning students, I am Riya Sinha, your SST teacher, and today we are going to continue our fourth chapter of Civics, that is Understanding Laws. In the previous class, I told you all about this chapter. We have already discussed this, in which we have discussed how do laws apply to all. Okay, let's start a new topic. How do new laws come about? The parliament has an important role in making laws. There are many ways through which this takes place, and it is often different groups in society that raise the need for a particular law. One of the most important functions of the parliament is to make laws for us. Obviously, it is different for different groups and a kind of people who used to live in a particular society. So, an important role of parliament is to be sensitive to the problems faced by people. Now, let us read the story given in a book and try to understand how issue of domestic violence was brought to the attention of parliament and the process is adopted for this issue to become law. See, a term is given here, domestic violence. Domestic violence refers to the injury or harm or threat of injury or harm caused by an adult male, usually the husband, against his wife. Injury may be caused by physically beating up the woman or by emotionally abusing her. Obviously, abuse of the woman can also include verbal, sexual, and economic abuse. So, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 extends the understanding of the term domestic to include all women who live or have lived together in shared household with the male member who is perpetrating the violence. So, now see the story. October 2006. A newspaper bulletin is given there. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 passed. Sazia. Did you read today's newspapers? Isn't it a great day for women? Not just women, violence-free homes will benefit everyone. Kusum, it's taken such a long time to get this law passed. In fact, it began with establishing the need for a new law. Kusum and Sazia both work for a women's organization. They remember the journey of how the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act got passed. When it actually got passed in 2005, then Sazia, while reading Kusum while reading newspaper, said to Sazia that, did you read newspapers today? How isn't it great for women? So Kusum was replying there, no, it was not only for women. Violence-free homes will benefit everyone. So now they remember the journey of how the protection of this act got passed. April 1991. A typical day at their office. I need advice. My husband beats me up. I haven't told anyone so far. I feel so ashamed. I can't go on like this anymore. But I have nowhere to go. I'm being ill-treated by my son and daughter-in-law. They verbally abuse me. I have no access to my bank accounts. They may even throw me out. So both Kusum and Sazia were complaining how they were violated by their rights at their home only, by their relatives. See, I do not want to go to the police. I just want to stop the violence. I just don't want to be thrown out of my house I am living in. Both do not want to go to the police, they do not want to do complaint against their relatives, but they want to live their life peacefully. Unfortunately, the existing law is a criminal one and does not offer these options. So throughout the 1990s, the need for a new law was raised in different forums. Like we have heard testimonies of several women. We have seen that women want protection against being beaten, the right to continue living in a shared household, and often temporary relief. We need a civil law to address this issue. Again in 1999, lawyers collective, a group of lawyers, law students and activists, after nationwide consultation, took the lead in drafting domestic violence. This draft bill was widely circulated. The definition of domestic violence should include physical, economic, sexual and verbal and emotional abuse. The law should cover any woman living within a shared domestic space. They should be protected from being evicted from the shared household. Now, what about some monetary relief? Meetings were held with different organizations. They were continuously trying to protect each and every woman who are abused or violated at their homes. The women's movement want a new law on domestic violence. Obviously, the government should introduce it in parliament soon. Finally, the bill was introduced in Parliament in 2002, but this bill was none of what we have been suggesting. Kusum was saying that a bill was passed, but it has nothing what they have been suggested there. So we must oppose the bill in its present form. Let's have a press conference. We could also start an online petition. Several women organizations, National Commission for Women made submission to the Parliament Standing Committee. Esteemed members of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, at present bill must be changed. We do not agree with the definition of domestic violence being proposed. The law need to provide for temporary custody of children. Ultimately, at a press conference in October 2006, now what is this new law? This new law is first in recognizing women's right to a violence-free home and provides a comprehensive definition of domestic violence. And this is a civil law aimed at providing relief to millions of women, including wives, mothers, daughters and sisters affected by violence in their homes. In that particular press conference, they all were discussing about that new law which was passed in 2005 against domestic violence. So this law is a very significant step because it recognizes the rights of women to live in a shared household, and women can get protection order against any further violence. Even women can get monetary relief to meet their expenses, including medical cost. Now, why is this an important law? Now begins another long journey, and yes, now the government has to ensure that this law is implemented and enforced. Law has made, but it should be implemented in a right way. That one is very important for any kind of law. So, as the above example shows, the role of the citizen is crucial in helping Parliament frame different concerns that people might have into laws. So, from establishing the need for a new law to its being passed, at every stage of the process, the voice of the citizen is a crucial element. and this voice can be heard through TV reports, newspaper, editorials, radio, broadcast, local meetings, all of which help in making the work that Parliament does more accessible and transparent to the people. Okay, now see another topic: unpopular and controversial laws. There are some existing laws in our societies which are made for the benefit of a particular group of people, but some controversy has taken place regarding these. Now, see, a situation is given in a book where the parliament passes laws that turn out to be very unpopular. Sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid and hence legal, but it can continue to be unpopular and unacceptable to people because they feel that the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. Hence, people might criticize these laws, hold public meetings, write about it in newspapers, report to TV news channels, etc. But in a democracy like ours, citizens can express their unwillingness to accept repressive laws framed by the parliament. Now, obviously, when a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, then there is pressure on the parliament to change this. For example, various municipal laws on the use of space within the municipal limits often make hawking and street vending illegal. No one will dispute the necessity for some rules to keep the public space open so that people can walk on the pavements easily. However, one also cannot deny that hawkers and vendors provide essential services cheaply and efficiently to the millions living in a large city. So this is their means of livelihood. Hence, if the law favors one group and disregards the others, it will be controversial and lead to conflict. So people who think that the law is not fair can approach the court to decide on the issue. The court has the power to modify or cancel laws if it finds that they don't adhere to the constitution. So regarding this topic about controversial laws, it is given in a book that whenever a particular law has been made for a particular group and regarding for its welfare, then obviously the other will get affected because of that. See, the photos there showed the different ways in which citizens can protest, campaign and show solidarity. We need to remember that our role as citizen does not end with electing our representatives. Rather, it is then that we begin to use newspapers and the media to carefully chart the work that is being done by our MPs and criticize their actions when we feel it is required. Thus, what we should bear in mind is that it is the extent, involvement and enthusiasm of the people that helps Parliament perform its representative functions properly. Hope you all understood the cover topics well. Thank you. Have a nice day.